What if AI stopped becoming just a tool and started helping create the next version of AI? This is the big story today. And no, this doesn't mean that suddenly in the middle of the night a robot woke up, opened its laptop, and then said, I'm your boss from now on. But it does mean something important is happening. Claude, the AI of Anthropic, is now writing a considerable amount of code for Claude itself. In May of this year, Claude supposedly wrote about 80% of the code that was merged with Anthropic's own code base. That's roughly the figure we know. Now, to give an example of what this is, it's like imagining there's a student who writes the textbook that will teach the next class of students that study. That's not self-improvement completely, but is the beginning of the loop. Humans are still in charge. Engineers still decide, approve, review, guide, test, and finally ship. But AI is now doing a lot of the work that makes AI itself better. Coding, debugging, testing, helping researchers move faster, achieve their goals faster. And that is why people are talking about something that is called recursive self-improvement. Big phrase, but a very simple idea. It means an AI that helps improve the next AI, which then helps improve the next AI, and so on and so on. Quite like a video game character who keeps upgrading its own power-ups. We're not fully there yet, but the early signs are becoming harder and harder to ignore. And while all the big AI company and the AI labs are racing ahead, the governments are trying to figure out what the rules should be. The big question is, how do you keep super powerful AI safe without stopping the pace of innovation? That is not a very simple problem to solve. You can think of it as trying to set down traffic rules for cars, but the cars have already started to fly. Next up, we have Nvidia, who has made a giant AI model for massive machines. Nvidia has created this open source model for serious agentic work. And this model's name is quite long and complex and sounds like as if it's the registration number of some robot that escaped from some robot farm. It's called Nemotron 3 Ultra 550B A55B NVFP4. That's a mouthful. But the important part is, in this model, there are going to be, in fact, there are 550 billion parameters, out of which 55 billion are active parameters. Now, understanding a parameter is not very easy. So let's just imagine that a parameter is a knob inside the AI's brain that allows it to understand patterns. So the more the knobs, the more patterns that the AI will understand, and faster. But this AI model is actually not meant for any of us. It's meant for massive data center machines, the kind that Nvidia makes, and cannot run on our laptops or computers at all. So what we can take away from this is that AI models are getting much bigger and stronger, but they still need monster machines to run them. Now let's get into robots and AI. Let's move away from software. Nvidia has released a new robotic platform that is meant for researchers, universities, and schools. It's a research-grade humanoid robot platform that uses a Unitree H2 body and has an onboard Blackwell GPU. So what Nvidia is actually trying to do is give researchers, universities, a common robot body and brain so that the skills that are developed in a more systematic and unified way. But why does this matter? It's because robots are not just for walking. Robots need to be able to see, to grab, to hold, to move, to help, to fall and get up, and not to be like some silly old robot that crumbles like a folding chair. Robots need to be able to do real world things really well. So if researchers and universities can build on a common robotic platform, the development and speeding up of what robots can do will be much faster and better. And while we are still talking of robots, there's another update on robots. Sam Altman has invested in a stealth robotics startup, which means one of the biggest names in AI is quietly looking at robots. Simply put, once AI has become smart enough in software, everybody is wondering, can it do smart things in the physical world? Can it do useful things like build, carry, help, assist in factories, or maybe assist inside the home? So, simply put, AI is learning to think, robots are learning to move, and when the two come together, quite interesting and amazing things are waiting to happen. Now, let's talk about Apple. Ahead of WWDC, Apple had some serious plans for Siri. They, in fact, had overall AI plans that included a better Siri, on device AI, and newer and more interesting AI features. One report said that the improved Siri might use Nvidia Blackwell chips for some cloud work and Google Gemini AI models for querying the cloud. Now, this has all been reported before the WWDC event, so treat it as rumors, but I think this is about what Apple is planning to reveal very soon. But the idea is pretty clear with Apple. Apple does not want to get behind in the AI race. For years now, Siri has been that helpful assistant who ends up just setting up a timer when you ask it to do something complex. Now, Apple is gearing up for a much smarter Siri, one that understands better, performs better, and is able to do much more across your Apple device. And if Apple gets this right, AI is not going to be something separate, but it'll be something that is built into your Apple device, which is important. Next up, Google is giving publishers and creators a new search profile. This means that some creators and publishers will have a profile page in Google search that will highlight the articles, their content, their videos, their posts, anything that they have created. And this is actually useful because search is changing and many people are getting their answers directly from AI. And when someone goes and searches in AI, tries to get answers, they end up not clicking websites, which makes it very difficult for creators and publishers to stand out online. When they get a search profile, then it'll help them because there'll be information right there saying that, hey, this is the publisher or the creator who is behind this content. Whenever AI shows up with answers or any content, in a world full of AI summaries, identity and trust are becoming quite important. Now we come to a very messy internet problem. Reddit moderators are fighting AI search spam. Some communities are reporting that they are starting to see AI posts that have been designed specifically to be picked up by AI answer engines. In other words, people may be trying to game the system so that AI picks up their answers and their content. This is the new SEO battlefield. SEO, as you may know, is search engine optimization, but that's quickly moving into GEO, which is generative engine optimization. Before, all people online were trying to please Google. Now, many of them are starting to try and please AI answer engines. So, this is the interesting part. The internet may have some completely new content, not content, maybe I think we should call it spam, because this is going to be content that is written not for Google, not for humans, but for the robots who will pick up the content and give it to the AI engines. This sounds very futuristic, but trust me, when it starts, it's also going to be quite annoying. And finally, one surprising fact that is also a little unsettling. Many young people are turning to AI chatbots for emotional support. One update says that 1 in 5 teens today are using AI for mental health support. And this is a little worrisome because AI is built in a way that it'll never judge or roll its eyes or say something like, when I was your age. However, AI is not a doctor or a therapist or a parent or a trusted adult. It might be somewhat helpful for some basic simple support, but for some serious mental health support, AI is not going to help. You need a real human to help you at that point. So, the main things for today's episode are that AI is not just answering questions anymore. AI is helping to improve AI itself. It is moving into robots, it is changing search, it is changing phones, and it is even changing how people get help, information, and comfort. The future is not arriving like a thunderstorm, it is arriving like software updates. You wake up one day and you see that all your tools are suddenly smarter. So that's it for today. Stay curious. And remember, when you want to understand what's happening in the AI world without feeling like you need to upgrade your brain to understand it, come back to this channel. See you in the next episode.